Hi everyone, it's Sue from Artcraft Journals. What I thought I would do today is I would like to make some pages, some collage pages that I'm going to try to scan and then use in a BoHo journal. I've been wanting to make a BoHo journal for quite some time, but I didn't really know what sort of papers and things to use. I don't want it to be really vintage looking, so I wanted to use sort of white, but I didn't really want it to be plain white. So what I thought I would do is use some whitish book pages, music paper, all those sorts of things. I've got some tissue paper, there's some grid paper, and I thought what I would do is make a collage page and then around the edges, just for a little bit of variation and colour, because to me boho is very colourful. That's not normally my sort of style. I'm very much if it's blues, it's blues. So what I thought I'd do is I'd do a background using the whiter sort of collage and then highlight around the edges with colours. Then I thought I would scan them and print them and use them for the pages of a boho journal. I'm not sure how it will work, how it will look, but I thought I would give it a go. So I thought I'd switch on the camera and have a bit of a craft with me sort of session. So we'll see how we go. This one is it's a nice paper actually. It's 100 GSM, so a little bit thicker than the usual photocopy paper. I just thought if I'm collaging on top, it might give it a little bit more body to it. So I've got a couple of pages there. I'll probably do one on the screen and I'll do a couple of others and then go from there. So what I thought I'd do is just start with a background using some of the bits and pieces that I've got here. So I'll just rip up some of these, just some book pages that I went through and grabbed. Got lots and lots of bits and pieces of scrap paper. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I don't know, we seem to accumulate scraps. And scraps, you know, seem to multiply very rapidly. I don't know. You start with a little bit, you think you're using it, the next thing you know, you seem to have more than you started with. I don't know. It's amazing. This one here was part of an IKEA instruction sheet, but it's got some text from different countries, so I thought they were interesting as well. What else we got? I also, that was some Tim Holtz tissue paper. I've got some tissue paper here, which I believe came from Witchcraft Do You Do? Yeah. I believe that's where this came from. So I thought I might use some of that as well. I also have some tissue paper that I've stamped on myself. This was actually part of some packaging, so I just stamped all over it. Thought it might be useful. Oh, it doesn't rip very easily though. Alrighty, let's get started. I've been wanting to make a boho journal for quite some time, but I don't have a lot of things to put in it yet. But I thought I'll get some pages started, so that when I do find some extra bits and pieces, I'll be ready to go. And I think it's just going to be a matter of collecting as I find them. But at least I figured, at least I'm started. As most of you may know, I work full time. And I work long hours too, so I don't always get a lot of time to craft, so it's just a matter of whenever I get a moment, I try to squeeze it in. So if you do hear my washing machine in the background, please excuse that, but have to do the washing at some point. This is interesting, this glue. It's supposed to be a blue glue stick, but it's white. So not sure what happened there. Maybe I've left the lid off or something at one point. Not sure. But clearly it's no longer blue. Oops. I think I need to get myself something to glue onto. I know Rachel from RoxyCreations, she uses an old book to do her gluing on. Maybe I should do that. Don't like that bit. I'm going to take that off. Been watching a lot of videos that with a lot of collaging in them, which I really do like actually. I made quite a few tags recently too. So I also did recently some tags, mini tags, using the tiny embellishments from Tracy Fox. It's a digital download, and she has some tiny tiny little embellishments that you can use. Some little pictures, really. Very cute, actually. Might do some of this. Yeah, very cute. I do like using small things, I must say. I find making smaller things so much easier than making bigger things. I don't know. I really struggle to make things big. I've always been the same. It's same with writing. I'm actually quite a neat writer when the writing's small. But when I have to write large, I really struggle with it. Don't know why. It's just me. Oops. Yeah, that's starting to look good. I'll use some of this one. This one does not rip very easily. Okay, it rips better that way, but that's not the way I wanted it to rip. So I hope everybody's well and doing okay. The weather's sort of a lot cooler now in Melbourne, which I kind of like. I'm not a summer person. I don't mind the warmer weather as long as it's not too warm. I burn very easily because I'm quite pale, my skin. English skin, so it's quite pale and does burn very easily. So even half an hour out in the sun is enough for me. So yeah, I much prefer winter. Not that I like the cold, but cooler, I think, is just more me. I need some more book text, I think. I've been watching quite a few craft with me's, usually when I'm doing something else. So I'm not actually crafting when I watch the craft with me's. Generally I'm, I don't know, cooking or washing or whatever. But it's a nice way to sort of, I guess, keep up with what's going on, who's doing what. What's that one? That one's better. Yeah, so, and I quite enjoy listening to the chitter chatter that goes on. Unfortunately, my life's not that interesting, so it's actually quite difficult to find things to talk about, and I do find it strange talking to myself. It's always a little peculiar. Although I must admit, I've actually started doing it more. Since I've been doing videos, I have noticed that I talk to myself more when I'm not actually recording or anything. It's just, yeah, just odd times I will find myself talking to myself, getting advice from myself. Oh dear. Not sure if I should have admitted that or not. maybe I'm ready for a stay somewhere else that's, you know, not a retirement home or anything like that, which is probably where I prefer to be, but maybe another special home somewhere. Oh dear. Now I know I'm losing the plot. I really want that piece. I really hope these work actually. Still got a few spaces to fill. Oh, probably put that on the wrong side. It's going to be interesting, if nothing else. I think more of the tissue paper. How much? I've got plenty of this one. I might use some more of this one. Just some random little bits, I think. Oops. Excuse me. Sounds like my washing machine's finished. Good. It's a little bit sunny outside at the moment, so I thought I'd get some washing done while I had a spare moment. I like that. Actually, I like the way that flower is. Not a bad idea stamping on your tissue paper like this. Not sure where I saw it, but somebody, I've seen it somewhere. It wasn't my idea. I don't usually, no, I might not put that there because I'm going to colour that area. Yeah, I don't usually come up with brilliant ideas like this, but I do like this idea. Okay, I might leave it at that. And trim around these edges so I know where I'm working. And then we'll look at some colours. Because I just can't put random colours anywhere, I think I might stick to a few colours. Alright, get rid of all that. Oh, come off. Okay. Ooh, very sticky. Oh, I've got glue all over my fingers. Yuck. Alright, let's get rid of those out of the way. Okay, I'm thinking might start with some blues. Or bluey greens or something like that. Try to get the more blues rather than the purples for the moment. Oh, I've got glue everywhere. Yuck. It's all in the grooves of the lid. It's going to make it tricky to close it. It's got kind of a flat edge there, so I might pop that on the edge. Yep, and this one's got an edge to it, so we might put this on an edge as well. Okay, started. Okay, there's some blues in this. What I might do is I might actually speed up this a little so that the video is not too long. Okay, I've just had to go and find some more papers because I really was struggling to find anything with blue. So I've got a little bit more, but not a huge amount. What I've also got though, I grabbed out my blue paints. I might actually have to add some blue paint to it because I really don't have a lot of blue paper, I've discovered. Which I guess to some degree doesn't surprise me because blue isn't a colour that I normally work with. Pinks and purples, yes, but not really blues. So I might just see what I can do with a little bit of blue paint as well. Right. Okay. What can I pop it on? I'm just thinking maybe a little bit of fill in some of the gaps maybe. I think that might actually work. Yeah, I think we might, it might actually work. I am going to gesso over the top of this as well because it'll need to be toned down, I think. Because the idea is that they're background pages as such. They're not the focal point of the journal. They're really just the background pages. So I don't want them to stand out too much. I want them to sort of blend into the background a little bit more. If that makes any sense at all. Okay, I'll just see if I can add a little bit of a slightly darker one, more of a cobalt. Now, oops, I only want a tiny, tiny amount. Okay, I've just noticed is here. Just take away that white edge a bit. Okay. Hope this works. Oops. But I guess all fun experimenting, isn't it? Might just do a bit of a well, now we're having fun, we're making marks now as well. Oh, why not? Why not indeed? Not really in painting close, I don't want to get paint all over me. Wasn't planning on painting. Actually, I'm looking in my iPad. It actually doesn't look too bad at all. I'm quite happy with it. Quite happy with it. Just break up that yellow a little bit. Bit here too. Thing is not to get too carried away, I think. I can see how it would be easy to get carried away. Just might want to put a bit of blue on the edges here. Take away from some of that white. Just gives a bit of an edge actually, that does. That look quite good. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can just turn it around. I don't want it too uniform, but so it's just a slightly darker edge. I think I'm going to really like this. Stopping now. Whoops, okay. Oh, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And I'm thinking once the gesso's been put over the top, that should tone that down nicely. Like it. Okay, alright. I might stop the video there. I'm going to do a couple of others. Then I will come back and show you what I've done, I think. So I will see you, well, I guess for you in a few seconds, for me in a little while. Okay, I'm back. Now what I've done, I've finished a few more. So the blue one that you saw, this one, which is sort of pinks, yellows, yellows and blues, greens. This one was a very quick one. As you can see, it's mostly sort of the pinky, purpley whatevers, and this one's more pink and purple. So what I'm going to do now is very quickly run the brayer over with gesso, and I've actually watered it down a little bit because it does get a bit thick. So I'm just going to run over the top so that it mutes the colours a little bit. So it's just a matter of very quickly running over, oops, and it does show how bad my gluing is. My goodness. Or how bad the glue is, either one. Okay, hopefully that'll stay. I guess the trick is not to do it too darkly with the gesso, but to, oh, there's another piece come up. Oh dear. People swear by the Yoo-hoo glue or Yoo-hoo glue, whichever way you say it, but I don't know, I always find it comes off. Alright. Yeah, so the trick is not to do it too darkly, but enough to sort of mute the colours down. So just a matter of, and it does dry a little lighter than what you see now. And obviously any areas that you feel stand out a bit, you can actually put a little bit more on. Okay, I think that's enough. I did notice somewhere it popped up. Seems to be the tissue paper. Okay, so that's one. I'll just pop that somewhere to dry. And I'll just quickly do another one on screen, and then I will do the rest and show you what they look like when they're finished. And I need some more gesso. So all I do basically is put a dollop of gesso onto a bit of acetate, and I always seem to get it all over me. Spray with some water just to water it down, and then roll it. Okay, it's very, very gluggy now. You can also go over it again too if you're not happy with the first go. I think that will do for that one. So as I said, I will do the others off screen, and when they're dry I will show you what they look like. Okay, I've been gone quite a while, but I've been fiddling around. What I did was, once they were dry, I actually outlined with just black distress ink because I thought they needed a border. Now this one I've scanned and I've printed. I accidentally printed it on cream or buff coloured paper, and that's what it worked out to look like. So I prefer the white paper, I do have to say, and I think this is, to me, it needs to be pushed back further, and I'm a little disappointed that this isn't a little brighter. But that one was just as it was. Then I did this one on the white paper, so you can see you can still see it, and to me, I'm not sure if it's enough, pushed back enough or not. It's not too bad, and you could write over it, but I think it just needs to go a little bit further back. So what I did was then, on the next one, I did a second layer of gesso, more of a watered down gesso. So you can see that it's pushed back a little bit. That's the original. So it's not too bad. It is pushed back a little bit more than this one, I think, just looking at it. And then I did with a thicker gesso on this one, and this is how this one worked out. So it did push it pretty much right back, but I think it's actually too far back. I only did this area with the gesso. I didn't go over the coloured section, but I think it's probably a little bit too much now. So I guess out of all of them, I think I like the second one done with a layer of more watered down gesso. Look, I'm reasonably pleased with them. Perhaps next time I would not go over the colours with the gesso. I think they need to be a little bit brighter. But it was still worth the experiment, I guess. And look, I can certainly use these. I don't know whether I'll use them in the journal or not yet. I think I will. Either that, I can use them for collaging anyway, or backgrounds for tags or something. I think they'll be all right for that anyway. So I guess it was an interesting experiment, and I'm certainly glad I did it. If I was to do it again, yes, a few modifications. But otherwise, I'm reasonably happy with how they worked. That was the concept is there. That's what I was trying to achieve. An area where you could sort of journal or stick something on with the colour around the edges. So I achieved that. And look, if I was more capable with maybe photoshopping and that sort of stuff, maybe I could do something more. But I'm not really familiar with using Photoshop, so I wouldn't even give it a try. But yeah, not too bad. I'm reasonably pleased with those. And that's about all I've got, I think. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.